Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals, your weekly dive into all things Nintendo with a couple of friends. Tonight we are going to be talking about the oncoming slew of games through Summer Gamefest, Cozy Directs. Plus, we're going to be answering some interesting questions about games and budgets. Oh. And then we are going to be topping it all off with our predictions for this up and coming June Direct, which, as of recording, has not been given a date. But all that being said, Micah, are you ready to get started with the episode?
Yep.
Hit that music.
Gotta scroll.
Hit that. Greetings once again, fellow Nintendo Pals. For those that are new around here, my name is Andros. I'm one of the hosts of the Nintendo Pals podcast. And we have, of course, my fellow Nintendo Pal, Micah.
Yep.
And Micah, as always, I gotta ask, how the heck are you doing? How the heck are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's great to hear. We were talking before the show. I think Micah needs to get a cat. For as long as I knew you in high school, you had cats. And now you don't have a cat. And I feel like that's what's missing. That's really what's missing from the show is you having a cat. I have a cat.
You should just give me your cat.
Heck no.
Joint ownership.
Joint ownership. No.
You just have full custody.
Midna is the perfect cat. She's still a little sneezy.
Could be a little more perfect, yeah.
But that's very
easy.
Yeah, that's very rare nowadays. We've fixed up her diet, which seems to have helped with that. So, yeah. Plus, now we have like one of them fancy schmancy litter robot things, and we got ours used. I think I've talked about this before. The old one died, and we had to get another one. Again, we got it used. But it's just so awesome. It's so convenient. Everybody that has a cat, I highly recommend getting one of these boxes. Some sort of automated machine, because it's just like, it makes cat ownership way more fun. Because that's the worst part of having a cat.
It's the only hard part of, or even mildly annoying part of having a cat. It's cleaning the litter box.
Just,
and that's like all you have to do to have a cat.
Truly.
You're getting rid of the only minor inconvenience.
Yeah. And feeding the cat, like, oh, who wants to do that?
Get the you have an automated feeder, don't you?
The automated part no longer works, so now it's just a feeder that I have to go and scoop out of. But hey, we do our best here. Midnight lives a great life. She seems like she's happy, but I've never seen her unhappy. She is like such unfazed by everything. But speaking of being unfazed by everything,
you could say
Micah,
of being unhappy.
Yeah, well, being happy and unfazed by everything. Micah, did you know we got a new 5-star review?
A dog. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Check those every day.
See, you're unfazed. Exactly like I said. The segue made sense. Huge thanks and shout out to ABCDEFGHIJKLMNOPQRX for the 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And it is the review says episode 274, Tom Nook. And now I need to go back and look at what we talked about.
What happened in 274?
Which generation of Pokemon has the best designs? No. What did we ask for the question? I don't know what we asked for the question. They answered Tom Nook for something, and we see the answer. Maybe it's this question that says, "Who do you fight for?" And the options were my friends, and my friends. And he was like, "No, I fight for Tom Nook." But huge thank you and shout out for that 5-star review. That brings the total Apple 5-star reviews up to 83. 83. Well, it's actually 81 5-star reviews and 2 other reviews that are not 5 stars, but both look like they are accidents to be lower. Because both of them say only positive things. So I don't know. I don't know. I think someone accidentally left us a 1-star review and a 3-star review. So, hey, if you could go in and switch those, make sure yours. Hey, if you haven't checked recently, go down and check your 5-star reviews. Make sure yours is actually 5 stars. You might have slipped. Like whoa, your finger was like greasy from eating your Cheetos or whatever, and it slipped. That could have happened. And maybe you just haven't.
Technically possible.
And you should just go down and check if you've left us a 5-star review because, like, maybe you just haven't. And wow, like, what a loser if you haven't left us a 5-star review. And with that lovely intro, thank you for helping us grow by leaving us a 5-star review on your podcast listening app of choice. It helps us to take over the world. And that's our goal: world domination. Micah, what do you say we jump into the first segment of our show? Let's talk some games we're playing in What You Playing? How did you time that so poorly?
I was getting ready to click and then just accidentally clicked.
You had the finger slip. The finger slip we were talking about a second ago. Micah, what have you been playing lately?
I'm so ready to hit this. Oh, I hit the button already.
Obviously not a clicker game.
Well, maybe it is a clicker game. My instincts are on fire now.
So true. Click a bunch. So true. What have you been playing lately?
Been really boring once again. I've played some Splatoon and some Rocket League. But the Splatoon was pretty cool because it was the big run that they had going on, where you had to fight all 3 King Salmonids.
Oh yeah, nobody reminded me about that. I almost would have downloaded it. You know what?
Yeah, almost would have played.
I downloaded the latest update to the game finally.
Oh, nice. From 9 months ago?
Yeah, probably. It's been a long time since I played Splatoon 3. But my son was like, "You want to play Splatoon 3?" And then I was like, "Yeah, it's just got to download the update." And he's like, "Actually, Dad, can we play Clubhouse 51 games?" And that was a good decision. I think we had more fun with that as a father-son than we would have.
Play some 6-ball puzzle.
Bro.
The greatest game.
Bro, my son's gotten good at that game. He beat me twice. And then I said, yeah. And then I said, okay. I was just warming up. No,
Are they the first 2 and only games you played?
They were the first 2 and only games we played. And then I was like, okay, I want to do another one. And then I proceeded to win 3 in a row. So who wins in the end? Dad. Dad wins.
So it was a fluke. You managing to win 3 in a row.
Oh, we played a bunch of games and we were getting into it. Was it at 6-ball puzzle? I think it was at 6-ball puzzle that it started to become competitive.
A little more competitive, yeah.
A little more like, I'm gonna beat you, Dad. And it was awesome. I haven't had so much fun playing that game since you and I played back in Christmas.
3 in the morning.
Yeah. And we weren't even competing with each other. We were just trying to beat the impossible computer. Yeah.
Absurd.
I learned some things. Because my Switch, as many may know, is an Australian Switch. It's a good old Aussie. Because when I got the Switch, I set it up as an Australian primary account so that I could play Tears of the Kingdom early. You recall this?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, I learned that in the Land Down Under. They don't call it Clubhouse 51 Games. The title is different. It's just, I think it's just 51 games. Is this what it's called? 51 Worldwide Classics. Hold on, let me go pull it up. And I also learned that checkers is not called checkers. It's called 55. They have more games. There's more games down there. It's called 51 Worldwide Classics. What do you call checkers in Australia? How would you pronounce this? Draughts. Droughts? Draughts?
Draughts and knots. That sounds like a thing I've heard before.
Draughts. That's what it's called in the game. Is draughts.
Why?
How to? Listen. I don't want to let all of our Australian fans down. How to pronounce draughts? That's drafts.
Am I crazy? Have I not heard draughts and knots as
it's just called drafts. I was pronouncing it wrong. Drafts.
No, this says draughts.
Drats?
There's no F in here.
How to pronounce drought correct? I've got an ad. But once this ad is done, I'll know how to pronounce it.
I hate it when it's one of those videos that kind of loops, but there's like a 10-second pause between pronunciations.
That is how it's pronounced. So the good old game of circly checkers is called drafts. I like it. But yeah, that was interesting. It's got a completely different title for Australia.
Wait a second. There's a 100 square international version compared to the Western with just 64.
What?
Apparently the world plays with 100 squares while we just play with 64.
100 squares in checkers?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what this says, at least.
Our brain can't handle more than that here in America. We're like 64. 64 is the maximum amount of like RAM that we have.
Yeah.
Now we operate on a 64-bit checkers board. Micah, before we move on, I want to pause here and point out a couple things. One, we have gotten more 5-star reviews on Spotify. I just checked, updated. We are now at 87 5-star reviews on Spotify. So if huge
that,
thanks,
Apple.
Yeah, huge thanks and shout out to everybody who's left us 5-star reviews over there, and has vastly outperformed Apple podcast listeners. Once again, we pit you guys against each other. It's a race to the top. Who's going to get hit 100 first? We're very close on both. And then I also want to point out and say hello to our friends who are here live. We've got Delphino Durians in the chat. Thank you for coming by for the live show. If you want to ever check out, if you're listening to this in post, if you ever want to check out the live show, we record Friday nights over on twitch.tv/NintendoPals, where you can kind of interact with the show. We're not super interactive with the chat.
Yeah, we usually just ignore people in here. So
we try, okay? But we're also like, recording a podcast. With that being said, Micah, anything else you want to highlight you've been playing?
I think that's just about it.
Just Splatoon?
Well, and Rocket League. I was suddenly noticing that it says how long we've been recording in the upper left corner. It doesn't usually say that, does it?
I don't think it does. That's new.
Interesting.
Now we're under time pressure. Okay, well, obviously, I already highlighted one of the games I played. I played some 51 games worldwide. No, sorry, 51 worldwide games. Is that a good Australian accent?
It's an
No,
accent for sure.
no, it's not. I love the like thrown in R's at the end of O's. That's like my favorite part of the accent.
You should
I,
do. Can you give a few more examples?
Arnar.
Can you say yo with an Australian accent?
Yar. They don't do that. That's not
I think
right,
that was a
right?
pirate accent.
Yar. Yar. Oh man, we're vastly offending everybody that listens from Australia. I am not joking when I say that I absolutely love Australian accents, and I'm very jealous and wish I had a real Australian accent instead of a bad impression is what I have. So besides 51 worldwide games, I played, of course, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I'm doing some challenge runs, baby. It's been a lot of fun. I've been having a blast. Right now, not having so much of a blast thanks to our good friend, the Sage of Spirit, Minoru. Because we're doing a Minoru only challenge, and Minoru is slow.
Awesome. You should just try finding. You should get a gloom sword and attach that to Minoru and see if that improves your damage output.
It doesn't seem like weapons
Or
really
maybe
changed anything.
everything does the same. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got like real weak weapons. And it looked to me that they did slightly more damage.
Oh, well, maybe that is the case. But really, what I need is a gun, specifically a Zonai cannon.
A
That would make things so much easier. But in the spirit of the challenge, I don't have things that I didn't find while doing the challenge. But maybe I will change my rules so that this challenge doesn't take 2 weeks. But I'm having fun with it, even though it is frustratingly slow. Because as Minoru put it, she emphasized stability and durability over speed.
Mhm.
And
Understandable.
when I pointed out to Minoru, because I have Minoru in the stream with me through the magic of AI, when I pointed out to Minoru that the robot goes faster when I am not using it as a mech suit, she said, of course, yeah, that's all part of the stability and safety. Obviously,
Yeah, 'cause
go faster with you not on it, but it has to be safe with you on it. It's like, well, thank you, Minoru, for
very reasonable.
dumb, dumb, dumbest thing ever. She talks like every manager I've ever had in software development. like, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. Like, I was like, no, stop with the corporate speak. I'm so sorry that I am talking very corporate. I didn't mean to be so formal. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Like, no,
You're still doing it.
great time. I'm having a fun time with that stream. The AI is making that stream way more funny. On top of that, so 51 worldwide games. For that, I played some Mario 64, and man, Mario 64 is so fun. The movement in that game just feels so good. The camera, not so much, but the like Mario movement, great.
Hmm.
You gotta
Interesting.
another go, Mike.
I mean, maybe it's almost half as good as Mario Sunshine Movement, but
Mario Sunshine movement is garbage. It's
it's
straight
so
bad.
good. It's good. You just got to get good at the game. You just got to
Yeah,
understand.
we should like
Oh,
race in both of those games at some point. Have you seen 120-star runs? Those are so cool. Those are fun to watch.
it doesn't seem that cool. I remember we did some sort of challenge thing, and it's like, get this star. And I'm like, I don't even understand how I'm supposed to get there. And you had to direct me to a hidden, like, painted glass window that you're able to jump through.
Oh yeah. The secret
It's like,
slide
how,
that everyone knows
why,
about.
why was I, how was I supposed to know about this? It's been like 20 years since I played this game.
I didn't even have that game when it came
But
out. I want to point
everyone,
out
I mean, like, everyone just like assumed
my
that that's
first
like
experience
common
with Mario
knowledge.
64 was actually the DS version, if you can believe that. The Mario 64 DS
That
remake they
sounds
made.
even worse than the
Well,
regular version.
no, that game's awesome because you start as Yoshi. You have to free Mario in a additional boss that isn't in the original game. And then you can also free Luigi and Wario, and you can play as all four of those guys.
But
And
no
I think that
Waluigi.
that's awesome, and I wish they did that in more Mario games. I like it when you get to pick between the characters and they actually have differences. Like we go back to Mario Bros. 2, right? Like it's kind of fun that you can go, okay, I'm gonna play Peach on this level because it's better for aerial. Play Toad because I just want to go fast. Luigi jumps
Yeah, it's real
higher.
unfortunate when you're trying to speedrun though, and you forget which character you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, it's never Mario, I'll tell you that. Mario got absolutely owned in that game.
Yeah,
um,
I can say it's like usually Luigi, and sometimes you swap to Peach. Make
yeah,
things
and
easier.
you kind of have it
Then
in
maybe Toad.
Galaxy because you get to play through the game as Mario, and then you get to play through the game as Luigi.
Yeah, I think they play the same, don't they? Though.
Yeah, and in Galaxy 2, no, they don't. Luigi's jumps higher and is slippier.
Oh yeah, it actually is different.
Yeah. In Galaxy 2, I think you can swap between the two of them, which was fun at a certain point in the game.
But the best part is once you beat it with Luigi, you get a cool picture.
Yeah, that was a cool picture. That made that whole I'm playing the game again worth it.
Totally worth it.
Also, it was just a great game.
Yeah.
Besides that, I dabbled a little bit more in Cuphead, and I don't know if I like Cuphead or not. So, is that a weird way to describe my feelings towards Cuphead? It's like I enjoy it, but I just find myself very frustrated while playing it. And when I get done playing it, I'm just like, man, that was frustrating. But I also like had fun,
You
kind of.
feel satisfied having beaten these difficult things, though.
Not
You
really.
feel fulfilled.
No, no, I
Hmm.
don't. When I beat like a boss, I'm just like, I finally did it. That's
Thank
cool.
goodness I don't have to do it again.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Yeah. So I like it. I recognize that it's a good game, but I can't get into it. So maybe it's just not for me, and that's okay. You know what? You don't have to like every game that everybody says is good. Just look at Micah.
Yeah,
He
you'll just be
doesn't like
judged for
Ocarina
it.
of Time for some reason.
Do you want me to list the reasons?
Actually, you do like it. You just don't like it as much as other. You
I
dislike it,
just like I just like it less than all the other Zelda games I've ever
right?
played.
But you still like it.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah.
At times, it feels bad. I will admit.
I mean that's
And
fair.
there, and the problem was I was playing through that, and then I was going to play Wind Waker, and it's just like hot dog. I'd rather be playing Wind
Did you
Waker
play through
so much more
Majora's?
right now.
Did you play through Majora's Mask?
I actually did not finish
I
Majora's
didn't
Mask.
finish it either. You and I were both playing it and streaming it at one point, and it was just like, I think it's good, but I just like, I don't know. It just didn't pull me in.
It's
I don't know.
probably fairly similar to how I feel about Ocarina of Time.
Okay. Okay. So then you like it, but you're just like, I don't know if I would be compelled to play through the entire thing again.
I just don't like it enough to play it.
Doesn't make any sense. But that's what I've been playing. Micah, I think that's it for what we've been playing. So what do you say we jump out of this segment and into our next segment, which is the Nintendo news? Alrighty. It's been a week. Summer Gamefest happened or is happening. Is it still going?
I feel like you should know if it's going or not, so I'm not going to tell you.
No. Listen, man, it's not a Nintendo event. I don't know these things. Summer Game Fest 2024 dates. Yeah, okay, it went from the 7th to the 10th. Yeah, okay. It's not still going. It just kind of, like, feels like it's still going because there's, like, more stuff, but it's not part of Summer Game Fest. It's not like previous Summer Game Fest where it was an entire month. You remember that? The first one was like, "Yeah, this is part of Summer Game Fest," Jeff was everywhere. Now he's got it consolidated at least to the one week, the one weekend, and it was this last weekend. Uh But in addition to that, we have a whole bunch of other news as well. So I guess we can start here. I'll start with this news item. Our June 2024 game updates for Nintendo Switch Online. We got a whole slew of Mega Man games for the Game Boy. And I thought that was pretty neat. Like, yeah, I kind of wish we had the NES version over the Game Boy versions.
Wow.
Well, like, why not? It just kind of feels like that would make sense. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe they're like, no, we're not giving you that one. That one's too good. These ones we're not putting on anything anyways. Here you go. Have them. Yeah. Hit us with our next news item, Micah.
Well, looks like we're getting a Lego Horizon Adventures.
Finally, Horizon is coming to Nintendo.
Yep, just like the way everyone wanted it to.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yes,
What's your excitement
I
level
feel like
for
it's
this
a
one?
little scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
3.
Bro, I was about to say the exact same number. 3. Yeah. I was like, I think it's cool. It's coming. I'm probably not going to pick this up.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've played a Lego game that I enjoyed. And they just have not called to me, even though a lot of the time people say they're really good.
Yeah, I feel like there's this weird nostalgia for Lego games that overwrites a lot of the. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I just feel like people continue to play them more out of like that. More out of that enjoyment of the nostalgia of playing it than
Mm,
than the actual current game.
wow. Wait, sorry, were we talking about Ocarina of Time?
I know we're talking about Lego Horizon Adventure.
Oh yeah, Lego stuff. That's right. Yeah, not Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
just
Lego
so
Ocarina
fitting
of Time.
you
Lego
were
Ocarina
saying.
of Time is also coming. You have $300 you want to throw my way. I'll
Yeah.
tell you how it is.
No.
So this is So that's kind of how I felt about Lego games. Like they're good, but not home runs for me. I really enjoyed Lego Star Wars as a kid, but going back and playing it now, I'm like, not really into it. So yeah, they just don't jump out to me. And I don't know how I feel about this next one either. So we have the announcement of Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, and it's a full-fledged like Quidditch game. And that is the reveal trailer was shown, I believe, during Summer Game Fest, and will be coming to Switch. Micah, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about it? I'm not sure how excited I am for this one. Like, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool, I guess. But I feel like the trailer did not show much, like gameplay wise. Like I still have no idea how this plays.
Yeah,
Like it has potential.
why does it look like Fortnite? It's like what I was thinking. Are we getting Harry Potter?
They'll
Wait.
reveal later that it's It all takes place in Fortnite.
Yeah, yeah. You don't really get to see much of what the gameplay is like. Um, did you play any Quidditch video games previously? As in
Nope.
the Harry Potter video games, like the movie game adaptations.
I've played part of 2
Yeah, I played
when it
I
was on the
played 1
Game
and
Boy.
2, and both feature Quidditch in the game. You get to play it, and it was fun.
Like, I don't remember playing any Quidditch ever.
Oh, yeah, I
The ones I played.
I don't think that was in every version as well. So that there's that. It
Yeah.
was
Well, yeah, I
fun, but
played the Harry Potter 1 on the Game Boy, and then I played some other Harry Potter game, part of it on a PC.
I just don't know if it's enough to be a full-fledged game by itself. You
Well,
know?
when in doubt, make it a full-fledged game.
Yeah. But is this just gonna be like I feel like this is going to be like uh Mario Strikers, where it's like cool concept, I guess, but then like as far as substance goes, there's not a lot there because it's just the game of Quidditch. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this should have been part of the Hogwarts Legacy game. Like there should have been a Quidditch. They canceled Quidditch in the story. So like
Lame.
DLC for that game, like Quidditch DLC. I think that would have done well and sold pretty good. But I mean, who's to say? I mean, that game sold like crazy. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this one. I don't know how to feel about it. I will keep an eye on it. Cautiously optimistic. Yeah. What's our next game? Shout out,
Oh, we
talk
got
about.
Civilization 7 coming to Switch, and they have revealed their official teaser trailer.
Oh boy.
So it's all official and stuff. I feel
Yeah, like
like I've heard about this game quite a bit, and I've seen essentially zero gameplay.
of Civilization
I know
7
nothing of
or
or even
Civilization.
just Civilization in general. I feel like I hear
Yeah.
about it relatively often, and I've never bothered to
So
look
I
into it.
tried out Civilization 6 on the Switch. My brother-in-law had it and was like, "You want to try it out?" So I gave it a shot, and wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it, and I also felt like it did not fit on Switch. It definitely was designed as a PC game with like a mouse clicking and dragging, and I didn't think that the port was great. That being said, I saw it on sale for like $3 on the eShop.
Hmm.
Like it was crazy low. And that's normally a $50, $60 game. I don't know what Civ 7 is going to look like. But I've heard that Civilization is good, but my one experience with it, I didn't really enjoy it that much. Give it another shot, but I probably get it on PC because it seems like it's more designed for that. Anywho, next in other news and things. So we are looking at the article here from Nintendo Life, and they listed off some of the games that they got to play at Summer Gamefest. And so here's some games to look forward to. This is one we've seen previously. We've got After Love EP, and this is a game by the late Mohammed Fahmy, who did Coffee Talk and its sequel. So like a really great writer, a really great writer and game designer. So good to keep an eye out on that one. See how that is. Like you want to just kind of alternate on this as we're going through.
And then they showed off Arranger, a role puzzling adventure.
Yeah, and I think we've seen this one before too. Have we not? This is the one that's like a slide
Yeah, I
puzzle.
don't. Yeah, I was trying to remember if we'd seen this one before, or I feel like there was a similar game recently that
Yeah,
we've seen,
but
but
it looks
I
good.
don't remember if it's the same one or not.
That looks good. Uh, Next up, we've got Critter Cafe, and this was announced during the Wholesome Direct. And I don't know, a cozy cafe simulator game with with cutesy
Critters.
critters. It's like Pokemon esque in a way. I think the critters are kind of Pokemon esque. Yeah, it kind of is what it sounds like. It looks like it. Picture what that game looks like, and that's what you're getting. Critter Cafe. It's next up is you, Micah. Or unless you wanted me to talk more about Critter
I
Cafe.
just wasn't sure you wanted to talk more about
No,
the
I'm
critters.
good. I'm good.
They showed off Fear the Spotlight, which is like classic PlayStation 2 graphics.
Horror game with the PlayStation aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's been popular to do that lately. There's kind of this like creepy, weird vibe with just things being PlayStation looking. That's because PlayStation's creepy and weird, and Nintendo's
Yeah.
where it's at. You don't see anybody making N64 horror games. And then next up we have how is this one pronounced? Neva or Neva? It's from the team behind Gris, or is this the follow-up to Gris? Sequel to Gris? But it looks really pretty.
Hated follow up.
Yeah, that looks really pretty. It's got a very painterly art style. It looks to be like kind of like a 2D narrative adventure with some platforming and some Hollow Knight looking fighting. that's that's the best way I can describe that. Passing to you, Micah. Do you need me to like
Also had
verbally tell you? I just been
Steam
like I'm
World
pondering.
Heist 2.
Oh, he's just doing a bit. It's
Yes,
always a bit.
they showed off Steam World Heist 2 coming out August 8th.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. What can we say about this game? It's Steam World Heist 2.
But 2.
Yeah. First one was in space. This one's pirates. It was pirates in space, and now it's pirates in the ocean of some place.
Where pirates belong.
How about next up we got Sonic X Shadow Generations. Do you pronounce the X?
Oh, of course.
Well, it's a Sonic Generations game that focuses on Shadow. I don't know what else to say about this one. We don't talk about Sonic here. This is a Nintendo show. Let's move on to the next one.
Harsh. They showed off Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble.
Yeah, I saw
coming
the
out
trailer
June
for this
25th.
one and can't really get a vibe on it. If it's gonna be banana ball, banana ball, monkey ball is such a gamble. It seems like they have some really good ones, and then they have some that just don't hit. It just
Yeah,
ain't hitting right.
Yeah, I just feel like when they're good, they're really good, but they can just be kind of lame as well.
All right, now we have. I guess we'll talk next about a game showed off while waiting. And the way Nintendo Life describes it in their article is WarioWare that's all about waiting for things to happen.
Sounds real
And
fun.
yeah, it kind of looks like I don't really know how to describe this game. It kind of looks like mini games involving waiting. They're mini game. They're WarioWare-esque mini games, but they're like, yeah, it's like an extended WarioWare mini game, right? Because those last like
Never
10
ends.
seconds. Yeah. Yep. It looks fun. I like this
It
one.
looks fun. It's hard to describe in a way that doesn't sound very boring, though.
Yeah. This looks like a game I will be picking up and I will enjoy. It's definitely got a good sense of humor to it as well.
Speaking of a good sense of humor, they then showed Yars Rising.
How does that have a good sense of humor?
I don't know. Actually haven't looked at the trailer for this one yet.
We've seen this before. I don't remember when it was announced. I think it was in a previous direct, but Yars Rising is an old game that Atari made, like for the Atari, and this is now like a sequel, or has
That's
something
pretty
to
cool.
do with Yars Rising. I don't know. I don't know how
Was
it
the
ties.
original just Yars, and this one is Yars Rising?
Potentially, yes, maybe, maybe.
They describe it as part Metroidvania, part stealth game, and part hacking.
Then we have the Rogue Prince of Persia. And
This is the list of games they hope are coming to Switch.
Oh, okay. So we're not 100% sure. Well, this one's gonna come to Switch. Look at this game. Did you see this game?
Yeah,
Uh,
it definitely seems like a Switch.
wait.
A
Also,
game that would do well on Switch.
is the Rogue Prince of, is this in the same series? Evil Empire is already an expert in the robot genre. Prince of Persia's acrobatic moves are perfect fit. So it is licensed Prince of Persia, right? Right.
Pretty sure.
Okay. So maybe coming to Switch. What else? What else we got? Do we want to cover any more on this list? I think there's only a couple. So
Yeah. Then they showed UFO 50, and that's all I know.
that's all I know. This
Hey, these are
game.
the people that did Spelunky. Oh yeah, Moss Mouth. Maybe I
Yep.
should look more into this.
That's our boy. I can't remember his name. Oh my goodness.
So apparently, it's a game that consists of 50 separate video games, all developed by a fictional video game company for a fictional video game system. Interesting.
Derek Yu. Thank you. Gosh, I had to look it up. Well, hey, you know what? I'm sold automatically. We should have led with, hey, it's Derek Yu. Oh, it says it in the trailer. I should have just watched the trailer a little bit longer. It says his name. But yeah, that guy makes great games. He made a great game, my favorite indie game of all time. So, got to pick this up based off of just the name. And I really like this conceptually. I was looking through it. You just got a whole bunch of games. It looks like NES games, and there's like if you go in the trailer to the 125, 1 minute 25 mark. See, that guy looks pretty familiar, does he not?
Looks, yeah.
It's the guy from. It's one of the guys from
That's fun too.
Spelunky, one of the playable characters. Yeah, it just looks like a fun collection of like NES like games. There you go.
Yep.
I wonder if they all like connect somehow, and there's like more to it besides being a big game collection. Let's see, I'm excited to find out. And let's hope that comes to Switch. So with that, what other news items do we want to talk about here, Mr. Micah?
Well, it looks like Nintendo is hiring people to work on Nintendo Switch Online stuff.
Ooh, yes, I did see that.
It looks like they need
this is from
game
a post.
software.
This is from a post by Stealth. He's been on the show before. Good old Stealth, nice guy. Post is got a pretty. He's a good account to follow on Twitter. For all things Nintendo, very positive and nice guy. Which Twitter needs more of. But yeah, they got positions for game software development, technical coordinator, front end engineer, back end engineer, and a director for NSO
/ planner.
Yeah, let's get someone apply for that job that will put freaking Plock on SNES for me. Or there are a couple games I want. I want Total Carnage for the Super Nintendo. I think that would be fun. Gradius
You get
3.
behind that.
Gradius 3. They have Gradius 1. They don't have Gradius 3, like the best one. That game's awesome. I just want all these games. I have all these games on my Super Nintendo, but I like the idea of having them on NSO, especially Plock, because that game needs save states. And that's it for that bit of news. Micah, did you see the new trailer for Luigi's Mansion 2, the gameplay for that?
Nope.
Well, it's been dropped. The trailer. How did you not see this? Luigi's
I
Mansion
saw it was
2
there, and I thought I should look at that
gameplay. I wanted to hear your thoughts on it because I'm looking at it and I'm going, I don't know if this is worth $60. This looks significantly worse than Luigi's Mansion 3, in my opinion. Graphically.
And graphically, I think it looks pretty good, but it's definitely not as good as Luigi's Mansion 3.
I think it's perfectly serviceable, good, fine. However, you have this and 3, and this is the same price. I just don't feel like that's. I don't know. Maybe I'm devaluing the market here, but I don't think that that's a good price point for that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I don't
since
feel,
it is a remake, it also should theoretically be at least slightly easier to make.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's a significant boost. Well, I mean it's originally a 3DS game, right? And so it obviously looks better than that because it's able to run on a Switch. But even still, like the frame rate looked kind of choppy. Like it's not as smooth or as like clean looking as Luigi's Mansion 3, for sure. And that's fine, but I just feel like when you have both of the game, like it's like. Oh, hold on just a second. I gotta go unlock a door for my family. They're like,
okay. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have either 2 or 3, I feel like, and they're both the same price, it's like obviously you should just get the third one based off of how this looks. But I mean, I still think it looks cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like if they released Twilight Princess HD on Switch and they made it $70 like Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if I could get behind that. Like I'd feel like this is too much money for what this is.
Especially since they did Metroid Prime Remastered for $40.
Yeah.
I feel like that ruined my expectations and hopes for all remakes.
Well, and in my opinion, Metroid Prime Remastered looks a lot better than Luigi Mansion 2 Remastered. Well, this isn't even remastered.
That's Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
Yeah. So where does this fall? I guess I need to look at like a graphics comparison, but yeah, it still looks good. It still looks fun, but I was just a little disappointed by that overall. Like going like, okay, this looks not as good as 3, which is fine because it's before 3. But yeah, it's the price. The price is really what I think is off here. It just needs to be a lower price game. But that drops here next month, right? It's pretty quick. Is that am I wrong? It was July something.
You're probably right. I don't think it says in this trailer though. Not that I noticed, at least. And I'm too lazy to look it up.
I got you.
Not when I know you'll do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It comes out June 27th.
Also into this month.
Yeah, end of this month. It's like actually like a week and a half away. So there you go.
Maybe it's releasing the day of the direct. That way they can be like, out now.
Be weird. Oh, a weird time for that. But they did do that for Metroid Prime, but that was also the first time we heard of the Metroid Prime remaster.
Yeah, they just like shadow dropped it.
That was awesome. What a time. What a great time. Hit us with our last news item here, Micah. I think this is the last one I've seen.
Suda51, the Grasshopper manufacturer founder and CEO, who made games like No More Heroes and Killer 7, said he's excited about the next Nintendo console and that we are definitely going to cook for it.
Love to hear that.
Or
Love
definitely
to hear that Suda51 is making a Cooking Mama game for the next Switch. That's so great. We're gonna cook for it. Suda51, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this guy loves Nintendo consoles, though. He made No More Heroes on the Wii. He was like, they didn't make a good sword game for the Wii, so I'm gonna make one. And then made like, I mean, he makes insane games. Like his games are all just psychotic. Everything's going on. It's like, yeah, I don't know how else to describe the games that he makes. So, hey, if he's pumped for this next system, we should be pumped for this next system, I think. I already am, but let's go. And with that, Micah, I think that's going to end it for Nintendo news for this week. And let's jump out of news and into the rumor mill. You should turn up the sound effects. They're all so quiet. Rumor.
kind of loud for me.
Is it?
Well, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds better. All right, Micah, you ready to talk about some rumor drama? This stuff's crazy. So we've covered some of the rumors from this individual on the show before. We don't usually name leakers or rumors. We just kind of go, "Oh, rumor has it this is happening." But we have dropped this one before, I believe. This is Midori, Midori, who leaked a lot of Sega/Atlas stuff and was pretty on top of things as far as that goes, and many people consider to be a very credible source. And Midori was I don't remember the story, but she was a Japanese woman that had connections to the company, and that was where they left it. Well, turns out, Micah, it was all a ruse because Midori is not a Japanese woman, but an American man. And is known for other leak exploits under the name Mystic Distance. And Mystic Distance is so while Midori was considered a pretty credible leaker and seemed to know things before they happened, Mystic Distance is not. Mystic Distance actually has spread some pretty infamous misinformation. Micah, do you remember the Grinch leak?
Vaguely.
Smash Bros. Roster leak with Grinch movie promotional stuff. You go back and listen to our like this is early in our podcast that we were talking about that stuff. And Mystic Distance was one of the big like spreaders of that rumor. And there was there I'm trying to find where I was reading. But there was more about like supposedly mystic. I don't want to share that if I'm off here. But I just thought that was so funny. Like catfishing the internet as a leaker, kind of. Yeah. I don't know. You got any thoughts on this one, Micah? Seem
Nope.
I'm trying to find where I found this. Is Midori and Mystic Distance. Oh, they're also no longer going to be doing leaking, at least under the
So they
account.
say.
Yeah. So they say. I mean, obviously they weren't above, just changing their persona and doing the exact same thing again. So there is that. But supposedly Mystic Distance was like not a very credible leaker and also may have been involved in harassment of employees to try and get information. And by harassment, I just mean like constant messaging and emailing and just trying to get information in sort of obnoxious ways. And you know what? It's just a bummer. And this, to me, just is one more. Let's not be leaking games. Let's not do that. Let's not have any of this because there's no reason for it. I mean, it's fun to talk about video games and speculate, but I really am not a fan of the leak, the the leak hack community. I don't know how else to say that. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
How do you feel, Micah?
I feel pretty good.
Okay. What else we got in the realm of rumor? I heard there were maybe some sus updates.
Yeah, there's some. There was an Among Us update that appears to be set for June 18th, and the devs accidentally uploaded a video of the new update that's coming out on the 18th, and it said out now. So there's been lots of speculation that
That's what we're seeing.
Video is supposed to be part of the Nintendo Direct.
Yep. They were the imposter all along. It's just funny that Among Us, if that is the case, that Among Us leaked it. There's also been a few rumors circling that we're going to see some 3DS remakes for Switch being shown in this June Direct. And So, but there's not really any solid evidence on any of them. But one person was like, "Is it Samus Returns, Kid Icarus Uprising, a link between worlds, Mario and Luigi's Dream Team?" And the guy who originally reported the leak said it's none of those, but who knows? It's like it's all just hearsay. But if we do get a 3DS game, are there any that you want to see come to Switch?
I mean, I wouldn't mind Mario and Luigi Dream Team.
Yeah, I kind of would like any of those four that were mentioned. I think Samus Returns would be cool. Kid
Actually,
Icarus.
Link Between Worlds would also be cool. You know,
Yeah.
all those except Kid Icarus, I think would be pretty cool.
Kid Icarus, you're right. Wouldn't be pretty cool. It'd be freaking amazing
Lame.
because Kid Icarus Uprising is my favorite 3DS game, and I really hope that one gets support. That would be cool. Because I want to play it with
Dual thumbstick.
Dual stick, yeah. Like waving my thumbs around for the audio listeners. It's this thing, guys.
I thought maybe you're just doing your stretches. Thumb
Purple
stretches.
Riolu says Tomodachi Life, and to that I say, heck yeah. Give us more Miis. Let's go. Yeah, that's about it for rumors, I think. That covered everything you saw?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, if you out there see news, see rumors, and you're like, hey, these guys need to talk about this, throw it out on our Discord. We look through that and use that to help make our show notes. And so, yeah, appreciate everybody that posts out there. Huge shout out and thank you to Monkey Thunder, who is 90% of those posts. Monkey Thunder knows before Nintendo knows. That's our guy. That's our guy right there. Okay. Let's see here. What? We've been doing this show for nearly 200 episodes, and I forgot what segment comes next.
Starts with a C.
Time for the cool questions.
We have one that starts with a C.
You asked us in the community corner. Yay. I swear. You're kidding me. Oh my goodness.
You have finished clapping and applauding.
I appreciate that. What's our first question? Community corner.
That's a good question. Here it is. Asked by Monkey Thunder, which Nintendo game do you think had the biggest budget?
Which
I know
game?
exactly what I'm saying for this one.
Probably Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that or Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, but Tears of the Kingdom's built on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, built on, but it still took like 6 years.
Breath of the Wild took much longer than that, right?
Yeah, but how big was the team?
I don't know. These are good questions. Which game costs more to make, you think? Well, they had to pay Matt Mercer to voice Ganondorf. I don't know how much he costs.
That's true. Yeah,
it's probably pretty expensive.
Tears of the Kingdom then for sure. I wonder if we could just look that up.
Like how much each of those games cost?
Yeah. Because, I mean, they've been... This is just saying that Tears of the Kingdom cost $70.
The previous Zelda title, Breath of the Wild, took over 300 people and 5 years to complete. Because of that, Nintendo had to sell 2 million copies to break even, putting its development budget around $120 million.
Yeah, that's what I saw for that one. I mean, Tears of the Kingdom took just as long, right? I feel like they had to have like at least the same team size.
Okay. This person says,
This one only says 20 to 50 million.
yeah, that can't be right.
I mean, not if Tears of the Kingdom actually made, or Breath of the Wild actually made 120. I mean, this does say 300 developers that working at $100,000 for 4 years equals 120 million, but there's a pretty good margin of error since not all the staff was working the entire time.
Yeah. For comparison, apparently God of War took $200 million to make.
What? I guess that's not that surprising. But
That's
that is a lot.
That's Ragnarok, not the first one. Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm gonna guess it's got to be about. They've got to be about the same then in cost. But besides that, what other game would it be? You know, like it couldn't be any other game. I can't think of any other game that would have a higher budget.
Yeah. I mean,
Nothing else is that large of a scale.
just like 3D Mario.
There's no way that costs more to make than.
Well, I
Breath of
wouldn't
the
think it
Wild.
costs more, but maybe next highest. But
Maybe next highest. Yeah, what's like? I'm trying to think like visually, like graphically. What I can think of is like the highest end games mixed with story. I think Xenoblade is probably pretty expensive to make.
yeah,
That's gotta be pricey. All that voice acting too, because they do like everything's
true.
like almost everything's voiced, right? Well, not everything. There's a lot of non-voice dialogue. $120 million is an unfathomable amount of money to me.
Yes, so much. Apparently, Horizon Forbidden West and The Last of Us Part 2 cost 200 million.
That's like a movie. That's like a movie budget. That's crazy. I didn't realize they were so expensive to make. Well, then you have games like freaking Among Us or like
Yeah, they probably spent like $40.
or what's the other one though? Lethal Company. These games that are developed, even like freaking Risk of Rain. These are games developed by these tiny teams over the course of 4 years. There's nowhere near even like $1 million, right? It's like
Yeah,
it costs like 100,000 to make this game. There's still a lot of money, and they make back infinitely more money than these games do, because I mean these games sell a lot, so they do break even. 2 million copies of Breath of the Wild supposedly made it so they broke even, and they sold 7 million. So there's that. Also, I think Nintendo's profit margins are higher because I think that they're not paying their CEOs exorbitant amounts of money, like looking at
yeah.
Blizzard and Microsoft. But yeah, that's wild. Okay, so that's the game we both think had the biggest budget. So
Well, I bet
question,
Smash Ultimate is pretty high. Think about
right?
it.
You're right.
And how much do you think it's going to cost once Metroid Prime 4 finally releases?
I mean,
theoretically, they're working on that for like 70 years.
Yeah, it depends on when you count it, the start.
Although I imagine the team isn't as big as Breath of the Wild and whatnot.
That's what you imagine. But
yeah,
come to find out, they spent
Who knows?
200 million. It's like It's like all the Marvel movies where they're spending 400 million and making back barely enough to break even. So the next question comes from Presto, from Off the Wall, who asks the natural next question: which Nintendo game do you think had the lowest budget?
Snipper clips.
Yeah, I mean that's a good guess. Is that Nintendo first party?
I don't actually know.
I think it is, but they picked it up from an indie dev. They were like, "We'll publish this." I think.
Yeah, I seem to remember there being something that happened, just like making it.
Let's talk first party and just Switch titles. What game do you think had the lowest budget? I'm going to tell you what I think, and you're gonna
One of the remakes.
not just one of the remakes, 3 of them. The Mario 3D All Stars pack. That had the lowest.
What?
That had the lowest budget of any first-party Nintendo Switch game because they did nothing. That is just 3 straight ports, no improvements, like barely working. They work, but it's just like that's what those are. Yeah, that's my guess.
It's probably a pretty good guess. Just trying to look at the list of all the games I have. Yeah, I could get behind that. Originally thinking maybe a Mario RPG, just cause.
No, that one got a.
But I feel like it has to be one of the remakes.
Yeah, that one got a really good rework too. That
one was good. But I don't know if it's like a ground up or they just essentially replaced the assets.
Maybe Mario versus Donkey Kong. That one seems like it would be pretty cheap to make. Pikmin 3 Deluxe. But
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
No, that game has a huge budget because they kept freeing adding things to it. They added a whole nother game on top of it.
That doesn't count. That's DLC stuff. Just talking base game.
Yeah, I think the 3D All-Star Collection is my.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think it would be really funny if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was like crazy cheap for them to make, and then
they've just made
sold
bucks
5 billion copies.
Okay, so hit us with our next question.
Fatorable Will asks, which Nintendo game do you wish had a bigger budget?
I mean, I'm just gonna throw out Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, let's throw more money at it. It could be even better.
Weak.
But I obviously those are like some of the most high budget games. I think this question is more like, what games do you think deserved more money put into them to make
Metroid Dread?
I can get behind that because like Metroid Dread was awesome, but I also kind of feel like it ended at about the right time. Maybe I wish it was a little longer, but not much longer. Because then I think it's getting too long.
There was more to it.
Yeah.
Just more to play. Essentially, your reasoning with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot, so I wanted more.
I
can't really think. Maybe Mario Strikers. I can't really think of a game where I felt like didn't have a good budget.
I don't think a budget would have helped that game. Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet.
What do you think the budget for those games was?
Not enough. That's what I think. I think that they make those games as cheaply as possible. They're trying to maximize out the profits on those. I mean, it shows so badly in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Or I don't know if it's necessarily a budget because they want to maximize profits, or if they're just trying to rush it to maximize profits.
Yeah, it's more like a timing thing.
Kind of similar, but yeah, I think they just wanted more games out faster.
I want to look at a list here because I feel like I've got to be missing something that I'm like, oh yeah, I wish this game had more money put into it.
Maybe Bowser's Fury.
Maybe.
So I feel like that wasn't quite a full-fledged game. I mean, it was an add-on to 3D World.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find a list of first-party Nintendo Switch games. Maybe ARMS?
You want to have a larger budget?
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of did everything it needed to.
Okay. I think my answer is going to be Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's which one I wish had more budget, because I just feel like it's good, but I want it to be more. I want it to be at the scale of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and Mario Odyssey. It's not that, you know?
Yeah.
And Kirby can do it. It feels like they don't trust Kirby to do that. Like they kind of relegate Kirby to lower tier games, and I don't think they need to do that. Like get him up there. That's my final answer. Or maybe I should put it into the 3D All Stars. Then we would have gotten Galaxy 2 and our next question, again from Presto. Presto here with the good the duality of all these questions. Which Nintendo game do you wish had a smaller budget?
Fire Emblem. All of them. I feel like if we had fewer Fire Emblems, we'd have more Metroid Primes. And just more Metroid in general. That's how I feel about Fire Emblem.
You just blame Fire Emblem for everything.
It's all well, someone pointed out, they're like, or asked like a year ago, they're like, which franchise do you think makes more money per game? Metroid Prime or Fire Emblem? Or maybe just Metroid. And I was like, well, I feel like it has to be Fire Emblem because they pump out a game like every year, so they must be doing well. But apparently Metroid sells better. And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be slightly before Switch era. I think Fire Emblem's been like killing it recently.
Game do I wish had
Metroid could have also been killing it.
I don't know. I don't really have a game that I'm like, I wish this had less budget. 1-2 Switch.
How dare you? Then it would have just been one Switch. And it's just one mini game.
One Switch. 1-2 Switch. I wish they hadn't made it. Everybody 1-2 Switch isn't horrible. It's not like the best, but I've had a good time with it. I got my money's worth out of it for sure. Plus Horace the horse. I mean, who doesn't love Horace the horse?
Lots of people.
Well, you've met him, so would you
seem
say
like
he was
a
nice
real nerd?
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, he did dress kind of eccentrically. Yeah. Mario Kart 8. That's the right answer. Actually, I wish that had less of a budget, and they would move on to Mario Kart 9. That's what
it's never gonna happen.
That's what we.
It's never gonna happen.
Can I go back as well and shout out another game I wish had a bigger budget, and that is Nintendo Switch Sports. Nintendo Switch Sports, I wish was more than it is. But I think that they fundamentally made bad game design choices that an increased budget wouldn't have fixed. So I'm still sticking with my other answer, which I've already forgotten. What was my answer to that game? Kirby. Forgotten it.
Flock.
Yeah, Flock should also get a bigger budget. And next question.
Another question by Monkey Thunder asking, do you think that we will ever see a Lego Nintendo game?
Maybe. We've seen them partnering up a lot with Nintendo to make Lego sets. So would they make a Lego Mario game? Because it
Not
would
necessarily Lego Mario, just Lego Nintendo. And I feel like Mario would probably be the best fit, but
do I think we'll ever see that?
I'm gonna think so.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think we will. I just can't picture what that would even be.
Lego, but Mario.
Yeah.
I would have said no like a year ago, before they started doing like all the Lego crossover stuff. But I mean, I could see it happening now. I mean, it's got to happen at some point. Maybe 100 years down the line,
I think, yeah.
Nintendo will finally make a Lego Nintendo game.
I don't know though. I don't even want that. I'm sure it would sell well though. Like kids would love that.
Mhm.
Next question, also from Monkey Thunder. Do you think Elden Ring will release on the next Nintendo system? Thoughts, Micah?
I'm gonna say no. It'll have been too long. I mean, and even with the DLC, which is pretty substantial,
I don't think
supposedly.
it'll have been too long. I mean,
It's
that
been
sort
like
of thing.
forever.
Yeah, but we got Dark Souls on the Switch.
There's a difference.
Yeah, that one's kind of like we remastered this for Switch. But also, you remember like
Elden
the Wii
Ring's
U,
real big.
when the Wii U first came out, and they were like, "Look at all these games that were on the previous console that are now here." Like, Batman, Arkham something, and Assassin's Creed. They had multiple Assassin's Creeds, like 3 and 4 on Wii U. Did they do Dark Souls? They didn't have Dark Souls. But it came to Switch. So I think they would like to. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. Someone is going to pitch to who makes these games? Who makes the Dark Souls games?
Good question. Does it have soft in the name? FromSoft?
FromSoft. Yes.
I always think Neversoft.
Yeah, FromSoft. Someone's going to pitch to FromSoft like, "Hey, let's port your game to Nintendo Switch."
I think it's too big of a game, and it's been out for too long for it to be worth the effort.
We have The Witcher 3 on Switch, so I don't think it's been too long. I think
people actually like that game. I'm just kidding, but that game's not quite as big as Elden Ring, I don't think.
Yeah, I think not only do I think we're going to get Elden Ring on the next Switch, I think we're going to get Baldur's Gate on the next Switch. Let's do it. And they'll have cross progression because Larian's awesome. That's my hope. Yep. Is it my turn to ask a question? And by my turn, I mean Solo's turn. He's going to ask the question. What percentage of players will rage quit Elden Ring day one on Switch?
18%.
18. Very specific.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this leads into the next question pretty well from Presto. It says, why should people play another Crab's Treasure instead of Elden Ring?
Crab with a gun. Yeah,
if Elden Ring is too hard for you, try out another Crab's Treasure, you baby. Ooh, got him.
I've heard another Crab's Treasure is actually kind of hard, but it does have lots of accessibility.
Yeah, I've heard another Crab's Treasure is
including a gun.
Yeah, is similar to Elden Ring, but is much easier than Elden Ring. So there's that. And why should people play that instead? I don't know. If you didn't like Elden Ring and you wanted a cutesy, cartoony art style versus, the Dark Souls art style.
And I've heard from someone who expected very little of the story from Another Crab's Treasure that it's surprisingly good.
Yeah.
And pretty funny. So
Yep.
there's not a whole lot of funny in Elden Ring, as I recall.
YouTuber Michael Reeves voices one of the characters in the game, which he's a funny guy. So yeah, there's that. He just released a video where he made a car out of those scooters that you can rent on the side of the road. So he made attachments to make it into a car. This didn't damage the scooter. It was attachment you put onto 4 scooters to make a car. It was funny.
To 4 scooters? Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Seems dangerous still, but
yeah. That's kind of his MO. He makes
dangerous things.
Dangerous science things. Yeah. I don't know, Presto. I feel like maybe you need to give Elden Ring a try. Other is pretty good, but Elden Ring is also pretty good. Now, I can't.
You've heard.
So I've heard, because I haven't played it.
But I can say that. It is pretty good.
Yeah, I want to play it.
Also gets easier. At the very beginning, when you have no idea what you're doing, it is very hard. And then it gets easier once you kind of know what you're doing. But it's also still really hard.
Cool.
And Crucible Knights are the worst.
Crucible Knights.
Yeah, there's a Crucible Knight boss that I was severely underleveled for. But I got so good at fighting them from spending so long trying to beat that one boss. I would always go out of my way after that point to kill every Crucible Knight I saw.
So we've got some questions from over on Spotify. This one here comes from Skull. Hey, Micah, do you like cheese? I mean, do you like cheese?
No.
Okay. And also, while we're here in this comment section, Ayla loves Bidoof, the new username. Ayla wishes us congratulations on our 4-year anniversary. Thank you for that, Ayla. 4-year anniversaries for Nintendo Pals. We have been Nintendo Palling it up. And I think that's all the questions. Yeah? So let's jump into the next segment, because you asked us questions, and now it's time for us to ask you questions. In last week, we asked you. Last week, we asked you, how has the Nintendo fan community influenced your gaming experience? Do you feel like the Nintendo fandom is fun to be a part of, or are other fandoms better? And what would you change, if anything? We got a lot of answers. This was one of our most...
A lot of really long answers.
Just next time we'll put describe in one word.
It's like when you got to tell Chat GPT, hey, your answers are too long. You got to make them a little shorter, please.
Thank you for asking me to make these answers shorter. I will do that from here on out. All right. Let's alternate here. You want to take the first one here from our buddy Dan from Retro Logic?
He said, to me, it honestly depends on the game. For instance, I found the Paper Mario fan base to be hard to get along with, mostly because people have a hard time reconciling others' opinions of newer games in the franchise. Whereas games like Pikmin and Animal Crossing are mostly positive, meme-filled, and chill. So it really depends. He goes on and says, if I were to change anything, I guess I wish people didn't get so caught up in canon, especially with Nintendo games. Most of the time, Nintendo is shoehorning the stories to fit the new gameplay mechanics, and were never meant to be Bible truth.
Dan's preaching right now. That's so true. Heck yeah. I mean, it's fun to talk about canon and story and connecting things. I really like watching like Zelda lore videos. I think those are fun. But yeah, you obviously can't take that too seriously with any Nintendo franchise because they're all well. What about Xenoblade? Xenoblade's like everything connects. So I mean, it depends. Depends on the game. So maybe this question was a little too broad because like Nintendo fandom encompasses so many groups of fans of different things.
Mhm.
But I agree with Dan's point that between different games, the experience is different. Yeah. Uh, I'm I'm assuming that he's talking about Paper Mario and the Origami King and how people felt about that game
Or
or
every
Super Paper
Paper
Mario.
Mario game that isn't a Thousand Year Door.
Yeah. Yeah. Except some of those are bad. Like like Sticker Star, which I haven't played, so I can't really say. But
So
Color
you don't
Splash,
know.
Color Splash is bad. That's a bad game, man. I don't like that game at all. It's I think part of that is on the fan base, but also part of it is on Nintendo for having such a wild variety in quality of games in that specific series. And the same thing happens when we talk about other games, right? Remember, I mean, I wasn't really in the gaming sphere talking about this stuff, but Wind Waker, when that dropped, people like hated it because they're like, "Oh,
Mhm.
gross cartoony art style for
It seemed,
babies."
yeah, the classic, very realistic shooter game era,
Yeah. Um,
and also dark and grimy.
and
All those
people
more
were
like
upset when
dark colors.
Skyward Sword dropped and things like that. But then so yeah, so there's that, there's those series, but I 100% agree with Dan that I think the Pikmin and Animal Crossing communities are awesome. Animal Crossing's a wonderful community of people to get involved with. I love watching content creators make stuff for Animal Crossing, being part of those communities. It's fun. It's all so like nice and chill. Everybody's really chill. So yeah, great answer from Dan. Our next answer here comes from Purple Riolu, who says, most of the time my interaction with the fan base is very positive, especially here in our Discord communities. Don't stop it, Purple Riolu. Our Discord community is so great. uh, but there's a lot of Discord communities that are awesome. And okay, back on track here. And gets me even more hyped for games that than I would be on my own, and I love it for that. The only situation I can think of where a fan base negatively influenced me occasionally is the Pokemon community. Oh, yeah, that's another one. Let's go back to Dan's comment about fan base having a hard time reconciling with others' opinions on certain games. Um, Purple continues, specifically when Sword and Shield were coming out, was very negative and definitely influenced my outlook on those games. And then similarly again with Scarlet and Violet. If I was a kid playing them on my own without outside world pointing out their flaws constantly, I think I would have had more fun. Oh, that's that's such an interest. I've never really thought about that.
Mhm.
Like I've thought about that in the case of just like, oh, if I didn't see the online reception, what would I think of this game? But like if I was a kid, no, like transport me back to the 90s, early 2000s, and this came these games. Well, first off, these games would be phenomenal in that era. Just like whoa. But I'm meaning like no internet. I'm a kid playing this for the first time. Uh, would I still like these games? Well, I did like these games. I I didn't pick up Sword and Shield because of the negative backlash it got. So But then I played it, and I also didn't really enjoy it. And I've played, like, every Pokemon game, and even ones that people say are bad, I like. But I just wasn't into Sword and Shield for whatever reason. But a lot of people were, so I don't know. This is a good that's interesting. All right, last comment here. I keep disrupting Purple Riolu's thoughts with my own thoughts. Purple Riolu's last little statement here says, "For the Nintendo fandom, the one thing I would probably change is often harsh and unrealistic expectations many hold every time a Nintendo Direct comes around. I'm tired of people thinking it was lame just because there was no new Mario or Zelda or Metroid. I think this is
Hmm.
proving, though, or maybe I spend less time looking at the comment sections. That is just good advice. Don't look at the comment sections because everybody's negative down there for they had enough time to go down there and type something out. They don't have a life.
And if you don't have a life, you're a negative person.
That's so mean because I love it when people comment on my videos and stuff. That's like totally not true, but yeah, I do feel like a lot of that gets very negative. Twitter, any Nintendo, anybody on Twitter. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Purple Riolu's experience with fan base?
Yeah, let's see what they're saying about the Pokemon situation, which is why I don't care what anyone thinks, and everyone else's opinions are garbage. So I enjoyed Scarlet and Violet quite a bit.
Yeah, and
I don't let all
you'll
those
still fight with me
naysayers
about it.
complain about things.
You'll still
Just
fight with me about
complaining
it.
to complain.
Yeah. My question: have you ever been negatively affected by the backlash a game has gotten to the point that you did not pick up a game?
Uh, Other M.
Other M? You were
Mhm.
like, I'm not getting that because it it reviewed so badly.
Because everyone's like, this game is garbage.
Other M, Sticker Star, uh, Sword and Shield. Those are it for me. It really hasn't affected me too much. I mean, 3 games in the grand scheme of things isn't too many. And for me, at least the Sword and Shield thing it was like I was falling out of uh fandom,
Love.
falling out of love with Pokemon as an IP, as a series. And yeah, I think that was a process, not and Sword of Shield was just the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I mean? I was looking for a way out. I was looking for a reason for the divorce of the game, not in real life. I am happily married. I love my family and my wife. I kind of sound like I'm being held. Like,
You're being
I'm being
forced.
held against my will. Read us our next one here. So overall, I think Purple Riolu hit this perfectly as well. Yeah, I agree. I agree with all these points. I think the Pokemon community is such a mixed bag on excitement. And then the problem is like people get just way too negative, and then people get really excited, and then they fight each other. And then there are people with like middling opinions, and it's like, take a side. You're either with us or against us. And it's like, it it
Only Sith deal in absolutes.
yeah, it doesn't feel as fun to have online discourse about a lot of these things unless you're in a community specifically for that thing. Like it, it's this mob mentality, right? Like if you're in a positive group of people, like I think on the Nintendo Pals Discord, people aren't going to go out there and like complain, like go like I hate Pokemon because this. People just don't do that there because nobody else does that there, and that would be weird. But on like a forum or on a Twitter account that's constantly nagging on Pokemon. Oh, finally, somebody else with the you like go out there and those things. So I don't know. I think as long as you're in positive spaces, you'll have a more positive experience. And even if you don't, it's like you don't have to discourse on that, especially online. But you don't have to do that for the positive either. All I'm saying is just like let's not talk about these things anymore. Let's just not talk about it.
Yeah,
Except
just
for
don't
on the
communicate
Nintendo
with people
Pals
ever.
Discord and in the comment sections of our videos where it's all positive. Ah, is it your turn or my turn? It's your turn.
It's
Read this
your
one
turn.
from Maddie Beth.
Betty Beth says, most of my interactions with the Nintendo fandom is overall positive, such as in discords like this one.
I swear these are the same answer. They even
They
say like,
definitely are. They definitely are. Which helped me get hyped for the new installments in a variety of Nintendo series. It's the same thing, but bigger words.
It helped to
And helped introduce me to some series I likely wouldn't have otherwise picked up.
That's different. I'm sorry. Now we're comparing Maddie Beth
Is
and
it?
Purple.
Is
Purple
it
Riolo and
different?
Maddie Beth do a podcast together, the Gamer Girl podcast, and I just think that this is funny that they essentially give very similar answers. Because again, okay, yeah, just keep going. Just keep going with it.
I refuse to believe that this answer was given without having read Purple Riolu's answer.
Do you think?
I feel like
Here's the
she read
question.
it and then grabbed a thesaurus and was like, yes, I'm going to use bigger words.
No.
Or maybe you just knew bigger words.
No. She was like, she copy pasted Purple Riolo's answer into ChatGPT and said, "Make me sound
Make this my
fancy."
own.
Well, that's mean. That's not what she did. I think this is a genuine answer because there's things in here that are not mentioned in Purple Riolo's answer. Y'all are the best. Y'all are the best.
But to continue, however, I have had some more negative interactions that made me more skeptical about buying games. Intriguing. Unlike Tears of the Kingdom, which was a day one purchase, and I have been hyped for myself alongside plenty of other fans. Games like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I also ended up purchasing day one, I was a bit skeptical about because of all the negative feedback surrounding it. I feel the Nintendo fandom can help get hype for games, but it can also reduce my hype and make me more on edge about buying a certain game.
That's true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, sometimes that's a good thing if it's not a good game.
You're right.
And then she goes on to say, I would want to change some of the negativity regarding launches of games and characters. For games, I don't mind sharing their opinions, but I don't like the way some go about degrading the game because it was released instead of a new Zelda or Mario. When considering characters, I've seen people get judged for liking or disliking certain characters.
I call plagiarism. That's so similar to the same. It's the same sentence. Are Purple Riolu and Maddie actually the same person?
And not to split personality.
they podcast together with different voices.
See,
are you and me the same person?
Stuff going on? No, because you like Ocarina of Time.
That's true. We can always know. I'll always know if you're a robot. I mean, like, is Micah actually here, or did he AI generate himself using ChatGPT, which we've experimented with before? Remember, we did that voice, and your voice sounded really good. They can't get my voice though because I go all over the place with how I talk.
You gotta have a nice monotone speaking voice.
Micah's got a pretty even voice, yeah.
But she was saying she doesn't like people when people judge certain characters and not in a hee joking way, like the way I joke with people about my dislike for Big Man. We finally have it in writing. You do like Big Man. You just pretend not to.
Oh, that's what you're taking from this whole statement.
So I'd remove some of that. Maybe I just see some of the darker side of the Nintendo fandom, but regardless, I try and steer away from it.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it's okay to be excited for the next Zelda or Mario or big tentpole release from Nintendo. But I feel like there is no need to put down other games or presentations just because your thing wasn't there. I feel like we've tried. I've never had that attitude. Even in a direct where I've been like, "There's nothing in here really for me." I still go like, "Yeah, that was a good direct. Like it had games that people want. Like it had this game that
Every
people wanted. This one."
every direct that doesn't have Metroid Prime 4 in it from now on is garbage. I'm just putting that out there now. Garbage.
Hey, maybe we'll
Straight
see it.
trash. We didn't need it.
Let's go to the next one.
What was even the point?
What are you? So my thoughts here. Maddie Beth's answer is so similar to
My
Purple Riolu,
my
and I
thoughts here
love
are
it.
the exact same as Purple Riolu's.
I like. I do think that Pokemon is a good example of a very mixed bag as far as fan bases go. And people judging or liking or disliking certain characters. I think that may be targeting, like maybe talking specifically to the Smash Bros.
Hey, we're allowed to
DLC,
hate on Fire Emblem characters, though, right?
the Smash Bros. DLC reveals. Well, you remember how many times there was a reveal and people were like, "Boo! I didn't want so and so. I wanted Shrek."
Not, I mean, you just gotta think everyone else's opinion is garbage, and it means nothing to me. That you don't have to
Yeah,
worry about those things.
I think that I think that it's I think it's okay to express that you don't like something but you can do that in a not negative way. I usually just say like I don't think it's for me. Like I don't think it's for me or I'm not a fan, but I can see why people like it. It's like that diffuses the tension so fast for anybody.
Yeah, like Ocarina of
Except for
Time
real diehard
just
fans.
isn't for me. It's just for people who have the reading speed of a second grader.
Yeah, I have the reading speed of a second grader.
See, that
And
explains why
more.
you like it so much.
And more. Second grader and more. Don't you have the reading level of a second grader, Micah? Are you saying yours is
Nope.
less?
I'm saying a second grader can't even comprehend my reading level.
Micah just holds
My
the
reading
book out
level
to look
has
at it.
my reading level has evolved to a different plane than a
Yeah.
second grader's.
Yeah. That's pretty true actually. You devour books. You can read a book so fast. It's actually insane how fast.
Only if they're good.
What was I going? There was something else I wanted to point out here, but I can't remember what it is. So it must not have been that important. Thank you for the answer. That was a good one. And Purple Riolu, of course, pointed out we said almost the same thing. All right, this next answer comes from Solo, who says, "I found the fan base fun to be around. I have not experienced hardly any toxicity playing online. That's true. I haven't really experienced any toxicity in playing online except for on Rocket League on Switch, but that's not Nintendo's fault."
Oh yeah.
What a save! What a
Rocket League
save!
is
What a
so
save!
toxic. Not as bad as League though. I think they had to just like
I
stop
turned off the like
allowing.
chat in Rocket League, and so you could only see the like pre-recorded messages. People are
People are
so toxic there.
people get so toxic in Rocket League. It's horrible.
I swear I can't wear my Triforce shirt without 3 to 4 people that day saying, "Hey man, love your shirt," or "Sweet Zelda," and wanting to talk to me. That's true. That's true. I say hi to anybody I see with a Nintendo shirt. And I usually I don't say hi. I say cool shirt. When I talk PS games, that's PlayStation, not Postscript. When I talk PlayStation games, I don't get a console comparison war vibe. Even when I run into non-gamers, and start talking Nintendo, they typically all smile about Nintendo. I hope I understand your question correctly. No, I think you hit that. I think you hit that perfectly. And you talked about it in a way that nobody else has covered yet, and that's real world talk. We were all talking about like online, but yeah, real world, like being part of the
I
Nintendo
feel
fan
like
base.
real world fandoms are always better than online aspects of a fandom.
You're so right. You're so right. Words of wisdom from Micah once again. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think Nintendo actually connects people across all backgrounds, like all spectrums of politics, beliefs, countries. Like I could see someone. I could be in like a different country and I see someone with like a Triforce T-shirt and I'll be like, boom, that's a connection, and I think that that's really cool, and it's going to be a positive interaction. Is the thing. Nobody you're going to talk to out in the real world that's wearing a Zelda shirt is going to be like, oh, you see that new Zelda game? I hate that game. Like, or yeah, it's just going to all be positive. That's so true. I think that was a great answer. And with that, let's move on to the next one. But did you have any thoughts on this one? Solo's answer.
I kind of feel like the console war stuff has died down recently. I feel like that stuff used to be
That's
worse
because
back in the day.
everyone's losing the console wars right now.
I think everyone's winning the console wars, actually.
No, PlayStation's like PlayStation 6 will be coming soon. Xbox, who knows what's going on over there, man?
Random letters.
They're like shutting down studios and stuff, and not a lot of first party coming out from anyone right now.
Actually, I guess Xbox might be losing a little bit, but I feel like video games have been doing well.
Yeah, but also not, right? Because like the games industry has just been experiencing like complete
That's true.
destruction.
Games have been doing well. Developers who aren't upper management have not been doing well.
It's okay. I like how you thrown that aren't upper management copy on into that. Yeah. That's why I'm saying everybody's losing right now. It's like there isn't a whole lot of first party anything from anybody, including Nintendo right now.
But do you even need first party stuff? Indies are the future.
Yeah, indies be keeping everything afloat right now. Next answer. You want to read us our next answer? Comes from the most fedorable guy we know.
Yep. Adorable Will.
Yeah.
Said the Nintendo fan base really seems to come out of the woodwork for directs, and outside of that is just quietly enjoying their games. Regarding the directs, the fandom ends up being super critical about how good / hype a direct was. And if someone feels like there wasn't anything they got hyped over in the direct, they grumble.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of Nintendo podcasts. And I gotta say, I gotta say, all of these guys are guilty of that, man. They're like, that was a bad. Yeah, they're like, I didn't like it. It's like, you're not getting anything in it.
No Prime 4, garbage.
You never actually say that though.
I'm a
You
man
do
of
say
my
that,
word.
but then you're also like, yeah, I like this game and this game. I'll probably look
Garbage.
into this one.
He goes on and says, but directs aren't there to be super hype and entertain. They're moving away from the days where we'd have live bands playing at puppet hosts. The good old days.
The good days, yeah.
Directs can be at hype when there's new first party stuff revealed, but we can't complain if it's just a JRPG show because they're just trying to highlight some stuff Nintendo wants more sales of.
Yeah, I do miss the days of live bands and puppet hosts. Those were the days, man. The Wii U days. when there wasn't anything to show, so they had to distract us with puppets. uh, um, yeah, I, I definitely see where he's come from here. Because like I said, you listen to a lot of commentators talking about Nintendo stuff, and I feel like every Nintendo creator goes through this phase of not liking Nintendo, and
Like
I
a
don't understand.
non-Tendo phase, you might say?
No, not a Nintendo phase. Like a phase specifically
Sounds like you're describing a non-Nintendo phase.
where they are still talking about Nintendo Directs and Nintendo games coming out and all of the things, but they just don't like it. They're upset about XYZ. They find everything wrong with it. And I think it's a phase as well, because I think I've seen people go into that and come out of it. And so yeah. I have not
So
experienced that kind of thing.
it's a phase where they're not liking Nintendo.
Have I ever had a face like that, Mike?
Similar to a Nintendo phase, some might say. And the answer to your previous question is yes.
No. I've never had a
Some
phase
think
where I've
you're
not liked Nintendo.
some think you're still in your Nintendo phase a little bit.
Nobody thinks I'm in my Nintendo phase. You're such a goober, man. what is Let me know out there if you think I'm in my Nintendo phase. How many games did you play this week on a Nintendo system?
All of them. All the games I mentioned
Just a dirty lie.
are playable on Nintendo systems.
I think you mentioned 2, and one of them you don't even play on Nintendo systems. And then you come in here accusing me of being a non-Nintendo gamer, as I have only played Nintendo games this week.
Well, it looks like we got someone in chat who also thinks you
That's
asked and you
you.
received.
That's
they think
you.
you're in a Nintendo phase.
Someone in chat. Oh, it's our moderator, Micah Prime. That's wild.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. I heard he's good at Metroid Dread minimum item runs.
Yeah.
Third best, actually.
I heard he should think you should also do that. I wonder if I still am third best. Because any actual speedrunner who attempts that will beat my score.
So yeah, I think Fedora Will has a point here where it's like people get very critical of directs. When at the end of the day they're just giant combinations of commercials. It's like, yeah. But I mean the same thing happens for look at like Super Bowl ads. People get pretty critical of those. And they haven't been as good, I think, in the last several while. But then other people are like, yeah, some of these were really funny.
So
and also they're all ads.
Some might say you're in a non-Super Bowl ad phase.
You're in the non Super Bowl phase. I learned this week. Did you know there used to be the halftime show used to be so bad there was a separate show hosted by a different channel that pulled away like 22 million viewers from the Super Bowl.
Huh.
That
I did not know about that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, this is like a long time ago. I just think that's funny. That's yeah. But when it comes to directs, it's like this last statement. Directs can be hype when there's new first party stuff revealed, but we can't complain if it's just a JRPG show because they're just trying to highlight some stuff Nintendo wants more sales of.
Although I feel like maybe you can play just a teensy bit if you want, just because I feel like there have been a lot of JRPG and a lot of like farming games.
Yeah.
I feel like they could tone sometimes they could tone those down a little bit and like showcase other things.
Yeah, or just have more directs. Like they did that thing for a little bit, experimented with like the mini partner showcase. And I thought that was a good way to maybe like divvy these out a little bit more. But when you have the directs are only like 4 times a year, sometimes less than that if they feel like it. They feel like events, right? Like they feel like these big events to gear up for and watch and go to. So I think it's a little on Nintendo for creating these events to be these hype event like things, but it's also on us to level set our expectations. Obviously, you should go in with very low
Measured
expectations, right?
prime focused expectations.
Uh, but yeah, also it does feel there was like that one direct that we got like it was so many farm sim games, and they all looked pretty good. None of them looked bad, but it's
And
just like
some of them had
it's
like a good twist to them to make them kind of stand out.
yeah,
But
but it's just you're saturating your own market in the very direct you're in. You know what I'm saying? And also, I feel like we get a really popular game and then roughly 2 years later, everybody makes
we get a
the
lot more of
same
those.
game. uh, and I think that was the case for Animal Crossing. We got like so many Animal
Absolutely.
Crossing like games after that. And then everybody started calling their games cozy. Like, oh, it's a cozy game. And how many games have we just talked about one that was like Creature Cafe. How many cafe related games have we seen? It's just like it just
Careful,
does
you're starting to sound
a
pretty
little negative.
negative about
Yeah,
Nintendo Direct. I
it,
mean,
it I don't think
I
that's a
wouldn't want
problem.
anyone to accuse you of being in a Nintendo
I
phase.
don't think that's a problem of the games. I think that's a problem of the directs, like showcasing too many of those at once.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta
it's like taking a
spread it around a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think it's on Nintendo just as much as is on everybody else. And at the end of the day, Nintendo should take responsibility for how they market their products and work with their partners to market their products. And if that's not hitting good, then they should pivot, make changes. Too often, I feel like we just say like uh, companies will just say like, "I'm just going to keep doing this thing this way," and they don't change. And then they go, "Oh, what? Why did such and such sell bad? That doesn't make sense." What? Assassin's Creed 22 didn't sell well? What? It's like like you gotta change things up. But anywho, maybe I am getting too negative. I don't know. I think it's okay to be critical without being negative. And with that, let's move on to the next answer here. Is this one me? Is it my turn? It's from Presto.
Yes.
All right. Presto says, I really enjoy the communities that I'm in, but sometimes I feel like people focus too much on the big tentpole releases and act like that's the only thing that Nintendo's hybrid is good for. I try to give more of a spotlight on independently developed games like Pepper Grinder or Beacon Pines. Maybe those uh because I don't know why I said maybe. Because those are really quality fun experiences that most people don't care about because it's not the next Mario. You and especially All N have done a great job of shouting out these smaller releases, and that's why I love these communities so much. I don't feel like we do a good job of that. All N does. I know All N does.
Well,
I don't feel like
you
we're.
do a good job when it comes to Spelunky, at least.
Yeah, and I guess we play a variety of games. We just shout out what we're playing. Right, and we
Yeah,
play a variety of games, so we shout out these smaller games that
and
maybe we picked
I
up.
do want to try out Pepper Grinder, which
Yeah,
also reminds me I need to play Gunbrella. Enjoyed the demo for that, but never actually picked it up when it came out.
oh man, I gotta tell you about something. Remind me to tell you about leaderboards at in the post show. We can talk about it there. Talk about it. I think that this is a good. This is a good point overall. It's like, yeah, people maybe focus a little too much on the big titles, but also I love those big titles. You know, hey, I like me a Zelda and a Mario game, and a Metroid game, and a Kirby game, and a Star Fox game, and a Paper Mario game, and other Zeldas, and Mario Kart, and a Smash Bros. I like those titles, and I get very excited for those and hope for those. And I feel like I feel like Nintendo does a good job of making sure there's always one to look forward to. And right now, I don't have one. Metroid Prime 4,
Metroid
kind of.
Prime? Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Well, we don't. There's no info on that one. What I'm talking about is that when I don't have like a. I'm looking forward to this. This is my next big game I'm getting. I don't have that for Nintendo right now, so I'm hoping that the direct we got coming will solve that problem. Yeah. What do you think of Presto's answer? You got any thoughts?
I think it's pretty good. And like I've said, indies are the future. There's some fantastic indie games, and they're just going to keep being more and more of them.
Yeah, and they're cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not $200 million to produce. They can sell for much less money. They don't have to cost $70 and then try and fit as many microtransactions in as possible. Yeah. All right, I think this is our last answer to this question here from Flightsy.
Mm-hmm. They say, I'll always feel a bit weird talking about a fandom as a whole, because in the end, they are the product of a ton of individual people, some of whom may be very different from each other. This makes it feel somewhat misleading to assign traits to the fandom as a whole. There's also a big difference between the Nintendo fandom experience that I get by being on this Discord and the one I get browsing on Twitter.
Bro, so true.
Twitter's kind of the worst.
Hasn't gone to anybody yet either, I'll tell you that.
I will say I enjoy talking about Nintendo with this Discord server. It's enriching to be able to have an in-depth conversation about something I can't discuss with people in person.
I really like this point. This is a good way to close out here. Because like we circling all the way back to Dan's answer at the beginning is like, not only is it made up of the individuals, but the Nintendo fan base is made up of lots of smaller fan bases. The Mario fan base, the Mario Kart fan base, the Paper Mario fan base, the Pikmin, like all of these games and IPs that people love, and you might be in one or tons of those IP fandoms, but yeah, it's hard to really make traits or talk about the Nintendo fandom as a whole. Can I tell you the origin of this question and why I asked it? I was looking at Star Wars. I used to be a big fan of Star Wars when I was a kid. Like I really liked the original trilogy. I liked the prequel.
Other people ruined it for you.
I liked the prequel trilogy. But come like new Star Wars and even like the Clone Wars and
The Clone Wars?
yeah,
The animated series?
Yeah, not that that's
everyone loves?
Yeah, not that that's bad. I just couldn't get into it, and I started to feel like I wasn't really a fan, like part of the Star Wars fandom. And so as I was thinking about this at my cube at work, my cubicle, I was like, man, what's a good fandom I could join? Like what's a fandom I could be a part of where he's like, like Star Wars fans, they like get together, they'll like dress up, there's like conventions, there's a theme park. Like you got Harry Potter fans. Have you seen how like crazy Harry Potter fans get. Like they're like, "Oh, I'm in this house and they have a
I'm in
theme
this
park."
house.
And no, the the Gryffindor, Ravenclaw houses. I sound like such an old man. And yeah, so I was just looking at these and just going like, man, these are so cool. And so I asked that out loud, like, man, I wonder what it's like to be in a fandom. And someone said, what about Nintendo?
So what you're saying
I was
is it's almost like you thought you were in a Nintendo phase. That's a Freudian slip if I've ever
as
heard one.
as I realized there's a theme park. I dress up as the characters. I and then they were making fun of me. They're like, dude, you could become part of the Nintendo fandom. Maybe you could do like a podcast.
Podcast.
I can't believe that I was so deep in my thought experiment that I forgot that I am in a fandom. Oh, that was
That's why.
and that's what prompted this question. I was like, how do people feel about it? Because part of me feels a bit detached from the Nintendo fandom. Like there isn't this there isn't that. Like Zelda doesn't have people going like, oh, like going out and doing like meetups and things like it's not as intense as some of these other like fan groups that I see for different things. There's also failed fandoms. Those are fun to look into. Have you ever looked into the Avatar fandom? Not the Last Airbender, Avatar, the blue people fandom. That Disney really tried to make a thing and it just hasn't been a thing. That's funny. That's funny because you go to the theme park and you're like, wow, this is like Harry Potter world, except for a movie that nobody really fell in love with to the level of Harry Potter.
Because no one's gonna. There isn't gonna be another Harry Potter fandom. It's like its own thing.
Yeah. Let's make our own. Let's make our own for Zelda. A Zelda fandom. We can like each there can be like a personality quiz that tells you what race you are.
Hmm.
Maybe I should rethink how that's phrased.
That
Like, are
sounds a
like
little problematic.
yeah, I'm meaning like if you're like a Zora or a
Goron,
Goron
a
or
Hylian, a
Hylian
Rito. It's almost like you're not even a fan of these games.
For some reason, I was thinking Picori. Is that what those guys are called?
I think
The
so.
little Minish cap guys. That's why I was like, you're one of the Picori. That would actually be fun. Like everybody has their like their you could be a Korok. That would be fun. I want a Zelda theme park. That's what I want. I want a place where I can
Maybe
go
someday.
in my tingle suit in public
And not be judged
or not be
so
just
harshly.
no, and be
Or you could go in your
recognized.
Gerudo Link.
And be recognized because I
Instead of
was
them just
Tingle.
calling the cops.
I was Tingle for Halloween last year, and 95% of people I ran into, actually 99% of people I ran into, had no idea who I was dressed as. They're like, elf? Weird elf? Yeah. See, it's like we go back to Solo's question. You wear a Triforce shirt, everybody's like, whoa, Zelda, man. You wear a Tingle suit, and everybody's like, oh, call the cops.
Understandably, though. Very understandably.
I don't want to wear that out in public, but I want a place to go as a Zelda fan and as a Mario fan, and we're gonna get it soon in my home state, like home state currently of Florida in Nintendo World. This episode's going so long, Micah. We should wrap this up and
we have
talk.
we have like a little over 30 minutes until we reach it's too long and we don't have enough space to save this episode. So
Woohoo! So we better jump on out of this segment. Thank you so much to everybody for your thoughts on the Nintendo fandom. Really like that. I have a question. Whoop. I have a question for next week's episode, or for our next episode, that I want you all to answer. And that question. I had it here. I'm trying to find it now. Hold on, Micah. While I'm trying to find it, give us your closing thoughts on the Nintendo fandom. How do you feel being part of the Nintendo fandom?
I think it's pretty good. I like it mostly.
Thank you for filling so much time and giving me time.
What are your thoughts on the Nintendo fandom?
No, I'm trying to find a question. I wrote it down, but I can't find it.
Well, you can still talk while looking for things, right?
No, I'm not. I can't multitask. Let's go with. Yes. This kind of is a good follow-up to this question. Share with us, share out on Discord. So last week we asked you, we have a channel called Last Week We Asked You. Share with us your Nintendo related artwork, cosplay, or thing that you think is cool. And we will react to those. That'll be kind of interesting to react to that in a podcast form. Actually, maybe that's not a good idea for a question. Maybe I scratch this whole idea. Micah, what do you think? I need your opinion. We're live.
Read this question again.
Well, it was like share your like Nintendo artwork, costume, cosplay, that kind of thing, like a show and tell, which I thought would be fun.
That'd be
but
kind of difficult. I mean, it'd be
also,
fun, but
this is a
also very
podcast, so that
difficult
doesn't that doesn't work.
We just have
Still
to
do it.
describe
Still do it. We have a share room,
things
so anybody
happening.
that wants to do that, hop on and share that over on Discord. So my other question that I have here that I'm making up on the fly. I'm so bad on the spot here. No. Where is it? I had it. I had one. Okay.
And he promises it was good.
It was good. The question is, have you ever completed a Nintendo game 100%? And if so, which one? And why? There you go. Give us your 100% Nintendo games that you've completed. I'll be interested to see, because I think that list for most people is small. Also, what happened to the lights in your room? You're just like suddenly in darkness.
Yeah, it's getting darker and darker outside, and I don't have the lights on.
All right. Well, we better get going to the next segment of our show, and that is the PAL topic. PAL topic. Mike and I are going to be doing some predictions and talking about the upcoming June Direct. Micah, first off, I am at a point. Someone asked me this, and I don't have a good answer. I don't really even know what is left to come to Switch that we want. So I feel like the Switch library is pretty peak as far as Nintendo first party stuff goes, and also indie games. But indie games, it's a little harder to predict. Like, oh yeah, I want this random. Like indie games is more of a buffet. style of gaming, not sit down and order what you want kind of gaming. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be given a big list of indie games that you can just go look at and pick which ones you want. But as far as like big Nintendo titles, what's left? What do you want to see in this next Nintendo Direct?
Metroid Prime 4.
That's it, right?
I
Metroid Prime
would
4 is
really
like
like to see
it. I
Metroid Prime
can't
4.
think, but I can't think of
Golden
anything
Sun
else.
4.
A new Golden Sun game. Bro, if they announced a new Golden Sun game and Metroid Prime 4, that's
It'd be a good direct.
you better pop off for that one. You better like get up and throw your earbuds, break them.
I'll pop off in the best way I know how.
Like
internally.
you'll be like, oh,
Hey, that's pretty good.
that's pretty good.
I like that.
I like yeah. That does sound like how you would react. The only things missing that I can think of, but I also don't know if we really even need, is like a Star Fox. There's not like a Star Fox game on the Switch.
Yeah. I would like a Star Fox game.
Would you? I also don't know what that would even look like. They did have kind of a Star Fox game. You remember that?
Starlink?
Starlink.
Is
Yep.
that on Switch?
Yep.
Is that not?
Yes, it
so
had a
old that it
whole
was
like
Wii U?
it had a Switch exclusive like mission with Star Fox.
Huh.
You thought that was on Wii U? Oh, that was definitely a
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's been so long since I've heard about that.
yeah. Starlink. And that game didn't do very good. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know what a new Star Fox would look like. Do we get a
It'd
port
probably
of
have some
Star Fox
stars
Zero?
and a fox. It's
Probably.
gotta have some space in it as well. Do a barrel roll.
I
You gotta
mean,
have that voice line in there at least once.
they have literally given me everything I want for Switch. We even got a new Pokemon Snap. You remember when we were complaining about
Yeah, that
how there
was
should be a new
great.
Pokemon Snap? Like, even games that I didn't think in a million years would come are like, oh, this has appeared. We even got like Advance Wars. Like that's here.
You know
Miitopia.
that got delayed for a long time.
Wii Sports. We got a Wii Sports sequel. Now it's not exactly what I wanted,
Yeah, but you
but
didn't even like it that much.
yeah. I mean, I liked it. Not as much as the others in the series for sure. But yeah, it's like they have delivered on everything. What else is there to make? And I just don't even know what this direct could contain. Besides Metroid Prime 4.
True.
They're not gonna do like the other thing is like we know a new system is coming, and I think Nintendo has basically stated that it's gonna come next year sometime, right? And all the rumors are saying end of this year or next
Yeah.
year. And they're not gonna put out anything major first party that's new, right? For like the final 6 months?
Why not?
Because that's a death sentence for that game. I already feel like if they release Metroid Prime 4, they've like majorly stunted its growth as a series just because it's coming so late.
Yeah, but maybe we'll just be cross-playing. So
Cross
it
generation.
doesn't really matter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hope, I guess. So, realistically, what do you think we're going to see?
Metroid Prime 4.
You think realistically we're going to see Metroid Prime 4 in the June Direct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. I think there's a possibility of Metroid Prime 4. I think more realistically, what we will see. Possibility. But I think more realistically, what we will see are ports of old games. I think we will see some 3DS ports. We may see the final stragglers from the Wii U. Zelda HD.
Nintendo Land.
Don't know how, but yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X, I think is one that
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Actually, I think people would like that.
yeah. And that's it. That's it for Wii U titles. But I'm thinking we'll see some more like GameCube ports. Uh, should they should just go full circle and release Luigi's Mansion,
Yeah, I feel like they might as well at this
the
point.
whole trilogy on Switch? That'd be sweet. That'd be really cool. But besides that, I don't know. I genuinely don't think there's a whole lot to show. I'm a bit surprised at that they're like, yeah, we're going to be showcasing and focusing on games coming at the end of the year. I feel like it's got to be not a lot of first party and a lot of third party titles. So we'll see a lot of indie games and or big-ish indie games, I guess, because they usually focus a lot more of the indies on Indie World. So that's it. I just, these are boring predictions, but I just don't feel like there's a lot to show. They gotta save their stuff for the next system. Like they don't want to show any of that stuff yet until they're ready to announce the new system. Maybe we'll see some more about Pokemon Z through
Oh yeah,
A.
probably. Did they give like a release window? It's just next year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although didn't they say this would be focusing on like this year, or did they just say on Nintendo Switch games?
They said focusing on this year. I don't have the article. Hold up. For the latter half.
I mean, that doesn't mean they won't mention it a little bit.
Yeah, the latter half of 2024. They've straight up lied before and said, like, we're going to be focusing only on games from this. And then they show a bunch that are not till next year. I saw our buddies over at All In were saying Plucky Squire.
Oh, yeah.
Which wasn't shown in any of the Devolver Digital presentation stuff.
And potentially Among Us.
Yeah.
Might
yeah.
be shown.
We can count on Among Us. There's some games that I think would be fun to see come to Switch, like Lethal Company. I think Lethal Company should be able to run on Switch, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Valheim, if that ever leaves early access. What else? What else is there? Good games to come to Switch. Now we're diving into
like so many of them have.
Yeah, that's it's like everything. The stuff that isn't on Switch is stuff that isn't going to be on Switch. I'm looking on Elden Ring. What if they do more Dark Souls?
Added to Switch or just new Dark Souls?
Added to Switch, like Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. So they did Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, I think just did like a remaster of the first one.
Obviously there's always Hollow Knight Silk Song. Imagine a direct with Hollow Knight Silk Song and Metroid Prime 4. And Plucky Squire. All these games that
and Golden Sun.
And Mina the Hollower, the other one.
Oh yeah.
I just forgot about. Did you remember when Mina the Hollower was coming out in December?
I remember being very glad it got delayed.
What a weird time. What a weird time. I think they'll maybe show more of the NES edition, like the Nintendo World Champion game.
Oh, it comes up July, right? Next month?
Yeah, that's coming. That's coming up. Nintendo, for the entirety of the Switch's lifespan, has had like a first-party game every month.
Yeah, they've been doing pretty
Some
good.
exceptions, but like that's pretty impressive. Do you think they can keep that up until the end? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to put out.
Probably not, because they gotta start swapping more of their focus over to the new system.
Yeah. Do we have like a Nintendo puzzle game? Like a first party Nintendo
Like
puzzle game.
Mario and Donkey Kong's kind of like a puzzle. Is it
Yeah,
not?
kinda.
Captain Toad. It's puzzly.
I'm thinking like maybe we see the comeback of Panel de Pon or Pokemon. What is it called? What?
What?
The
Saying
Pokemon
Panel the
Panel de
Pond
Pon?
doesn't need to come back.
What
There's
is
a
it
beat on
called?
like that secret difficulty mode. I never wanted to play that game ever again. It's so brutal.
Uh yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This is a weird time. This is going to be a weird direct because this is the last hurrah for the Switch. Really. Because I think we're going to start seeing inklings of the next thing come end of the year. Because I think the next thing's coming next spring. Once again, I will double down. I said 2025 before anybody else said 2025. I said 2025. I think it's springtime.
Was it before anyone else though?
I mean, I didn't check, but I didn't see anybody else. So everybody else was rumoring it's
I
going
don't
to come
know.
out
Like,
this year.
did I don't know. Maybe I said it 2025 before you.
Maybe.
We may never know.
And that is our predictions. Are somewhat shaky, not really very good predictions for this month's Nintendo Direct. And this is a big one too. It's supposed to be a big one, right? Because this is the one that would be at E3. Remember E3?
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P.
The good old days.
R.I.P. E3 and shows with puppets. Micah, that's going to wrap this episode. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitch at Micah Prime.
And you can find me gallivanting about. I like to say gallivanting about. I think that's a fun way to say what I'm doing. Yeah, gallivanting about over on twitch.tv/Andros1 and on TikTok at Andros1, YouTube, Andros1, all of those places. You can find me and my escapades in Zelda challenge runs. That's what I primarily do on the side. I'm a Zelda fan. Who'd have thought? I have a Tingle costume.
And a Gerudo Link costume. Don't forget that.
And a Waluigi costume.
That's not Zelda related at all.
Not yet. But
Not
won't
yet.
that be?
Please no.
Won't that be the day? Yeah, and you can also follow the show, Nintendo Pals podcast, on all of the podcast listening apps platforms. We're on Twitter, gross, even though we've smacked on Twitter so many times this episode.
Yeah,
we're
seriously.
on there. We're also on Twitch and on YouTube for Nintendo Pals. You should definitely check out the video version of the podcast over on Twitch, YouTube, and Spotify. All those places are spots that you can see our beautiful faces. And with that, we'll close out here by giving a huge shout out and thank you to our fantastic supporters over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. We don't like shout out for people to go check out the Patreon super often. I mean, we do it at the end of every episode. We probably should do that more, but thank you to all of you. That just means that these people are above and beyond. They listen to the whole episode and choose to support us here. Thank you to T-Bone1494, to Nick Lanoy, Fedorable Will, Monkey Thunder, Madison, aka Purple Riolu. You see, a lot of these people are also the ones leaving these awesome comments too. Lava Plays, John Cummins, Lil Miss 7, Tim A, aka Neoprime 33, aka Nintendo Dad number 4, Seth Sturgill, LPD, Spider Shan. Why did I say it like that? Spider Shan, Shannon,
There was
great
some
guy.
Sean Connery up in here.
Spider Shan. Solo,
Pretty good.
and of course, Mute Dog the Gamer. Mute Dog the Gamer, we always say you last, and that's just because alphabetically, I think you are last. No, I don't know why you're last
What?
on this list.
What?
That's not true.
I mean, I don't even know why you even like what brought on that explanation.
Because I was looking at it and I was like, oh yeah, everything looked alphabetical until Mute Dog came to the bottom here, and he's like, why is Mute Dog on the bottom of the list?
Does it have to do with the
It doesn't have to do with the
rhymes and
mounts. It doesn't have
syllables?
to do. There's literally no reasoning for this list organization for that Patreon provides us. But we thank you for being last and not least, Mute Dog. Thank you. Thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters. You guys are the best. And Micah, with that, let's close out here with some wise words of wisdom from the dark cave of Micah's room.
I can't remember if I've said this one already, but it's good enough that it can be said twice. If you're always on time, it implies that you never had anything better you should be doing.
Yeah, you've said that one before. And obviously we don't.
Just that good.
Thank you everybody for listening. Bye. Peace out.
Bye.